Hi, this is SJ Talks and Life coming back at you with another video. I have it on this channel, this YouTuber by the name of the Crimson Cure. Um, in the video, I did a video talking about women's accountability. I'm gonna link that up to this video, women's accountability channels. She's the one that I mentioned in that video, when I was talking about black women's accountability. Um, um, Uh, my question in that video was they being too harsh on black women, and this is the woman that I was referring to in that video. She she's a black. When I read her description about the part where you go to about where you basically talk about your channel, I read that and it said that she considers herself a red pill woman. She is an advocate uh, for the black manosphere, and she says she considers herself a red pill woman. Never heard of that. Never heard of red pill woman, but okay, whatever rocks your boat. Um, I, like I said, there's issues on both sides. I've stated many times in many of my videos that there's issues on both sides. Um, when in reference and talking about the black community, you can't talk about. I don't believe in being one sided. I believe there's issues on both sides. The reason why I don't believe in being one sided and just focusing on one gender, putting all the focus on black men or putting all the focus on black women, I believe in talking about the issues on both sides. The reason why is because of the issues that's going on between black men and black women is the reason why our children, which we um, are we both of us are black men and women are in charge of, um the children are being affected by the actions of black men and women in the black community. It's our children that have to suffer. It's our children that have to suffer when um people are black men and women are having sex outside of marriage and don't have stable relationships and are creating children, and these children are being raised without the benefit of a father in the home. And as I've stated in many videos, um, something you could be the best single mother in the world, but something is going to be lacking if there's no father figure in that home. Um, I don't care how good of a mother you are, something is going to be lacking because that child needed both parents in the home, because the man and the woman balance each other out. And so, and particularly when a child, especially when a black male, he gets to be a certain age, he's going to need his father more than his mother. And there's a lot's going to be lacking when that father is not there. And it has a direct correlation of all the things that's happening, all the terrible things that are happening in the black community, the violence, the gun violence and the gangs and all that, things of that nature. So a lot of it, the direct correlation is the children not being raised with the benefit of a father in a home, but all the blame is being placed on the woman. A woman can't teach a boy how to be a man. I think that when a son gets to be a certain age, the father needs to take him. That's what I believe. I believe when Remember that if you guys seen that movie, Boys in the Hood, remember in the beginning of that movie, Angela Bassett's character, she had like a cameo appearance in the movie, dropped off Cuba Gooding Jr. to his father. I forget what their names are in the movie because I haven't watched it in so long. She dropped off. She dropped off. Angela Bassett dropped off uh, Cuba Gooding Jr. off to his dad, to Lawrence Fishburne, his dad, in the movie, because he got to be a certain age And his father was smart enough to understand the importance of guiding his son at that stage in his life because he was getting to be a teenager. And fortunately, his father understood the importance of guiding his son at that point and teaching him how to be a man. Unfortunately, a lot of black men don't understand that, nor a lot of some of them don't even care when their sons get to be a certain age. Well, some of them don't even care. But I think a black man that does care about that and cares about bringing up his son into um, productive manhood, you know, hats off to those brothers. Um, and I think that when young black males get to be a certain age, the father should take over because a woman cannot teach a boy how to be a man. She can't. She just can't. She's not capable of doing it. You know, there's like when my sons, there were certain things that I, even if it came from me, they wouldn't receive it from me. They like I tell them, like a lot of times I would bring groceries home and I would tell them, you need to take the groceries out of the car and bring them into the house. And a lot of times they wouldn't do it, and I would get really angry at them because I would constantly tell them that, but it sounds from when it's coming from me, it sounds like nagging. It sounds like I'm nagging them. I'm fussing at them. But if their father, on the flip side, if their father had told them that, if their father had said, when your mama bring the groceries home, bring the groceries in the house. That's what a man's supposed to do. Then they would have got the full gist and the full understanding had that same message came from their father. I'm just using it as a parable. With me telling them, they didn't receive it well because I was fussing at them. That's how they received it. But I'm pretty much telling them this is what a man does. This is what a man does. And they just could not, they had a very difficult time grasping that because they were so used to seeing me do everything. You know what I mean? So um, there has to be a balance. There's a balance. And you can't address one side, the issue that the problems, and I agree with a lot of what she says, but some of her topics come off like as if she's bashing black women. And but at the same time, I got mixed emotions, but at the same time, a lot of what she's saying is correct. But a lot of times it comes across as bashing. All her topics are centered around black women. And the fact that she says that she's considers herself a red pill woman, okay, well that means that you're an advocate of not holding the black men accountable. And that is a issue that we have in the black community. We have a problem with holding our men accountable. And the God called our men to be the head. The black man is supposed to be the head of the community. So how can you not hold them accountable? How can you not hold them accountable? How is it that everything is on black women? That black women have all these issues, but the black men don't? Because that's the message that she sends on this channel. It's like every video is about black women. I've looked down her timeline. Every video is about black women. Black women this, black women that. And it's nothing positive. She don't even balance it. If you're going to talk about all black women, at least throw some positive videos in there. At least throw some positive videos in there. None of them are positive. None of the videos are positive. And I do agree with a lot of things that she says, you know. But at the same time, I just don't believe when it comes to the black community, I don't believe in being one-sided. Because black men have their issues too. And black men are supposed to be the head. If the black women and children are out of order, okay, well who does it? I mean, ultimately, if the black women and children are out of order and God made man the head, Who does it fall back on? He didn't make us be the head. He didn't create us to be the head. He created man to be the head. Black men are supposed to be the head of the communities. And like I said, we have an accountability issue in the black community of holding the black men accountable, coddling black men, coddling them, and not holding them accountable. When a black man has multiple children, what's the first thing people say? Well, why would those women lay with him knowing he got all those kids? That's the first thing that people will say. They will not, or as long as he's taking care of them. I did a video addressing that. Oh, as long as he takes care of them. But let a woman have multiple children. She could be doing an excellent job taking care of her kids. She gets bashed. Black single motherhood is looked down on in the community. Black single mothers are judged very harshly. And you could be the best, you could be trying to be the best single mother you can be. You could be trying to do the best you can and working very hard to be a good mother and take care of your kids. But it doesn't matter because black single mothers are really, really stigmatized and looked down on in the black community. But what about the black men that have multiple children? People say things like, oh, as long as he's taking care of them. Or why would women keep laying with him? See, nobody wants to hold the black man accountable. When there's gun violence and all those things happen in the black community, what do people say? What is the first thing that people say? Well, that's because they're being raised by single mothers. They never say, where are their fathers? They never say that. Where was the fathers at? Where was the fathers to lead these boys in the right direction, to show them the right way to go? Where were the fathers? That people never say that. They always say, oh, it's because they're being raised by single black mothers. Black women are doing a terrible job at raising the kids. Well, last time I checked, it took 2 people to raise children. And it's a man's responsibility to show his son the right way, to lead his son in the right direction. Teach his son how to be a man, an honorable man, a respectable man. Okay? To teach him, to give him the skills, to teach him how to be a good father, to be a protector and a provider. Because last time I checked, that was a man's role, was to be protector and provider. I don't think it's the mother's responsibility to instill those things in her son. It is the father's responsibility to do that. But as soon as something happens in the black community, what do people say? Well, they're being raised by them single mothers and not doing too good of a job. And they totally forget about the role that the father is supposed to play in the child's life. They completely forget about that. So everything is being dumped on the black women's shoulders. See, and that's something that she doesn't realize, she doesn't acknowledge. She doesn't even acknowledge it. And she don't address the issues with our men, because there are issues with our men. On my channel, I try to talk about the issues on both sides. I don't just talk about what's going on with black women. I don't just talk about what's going on with black men. I talk about both sides. Because it can't be one-sided. Like I said, our children are suffering because black men and black women don't have it together. Our children are suffering because we don't have it together. So there's issues on both sides, and those issues on both sides need to be addressed. It's not just about black women doing this, black women doing that, black women doing this, black women doing that. What about what the issues that the black men are having in the community. And that's what I'm saying. There's a huge accountability issue in the black community when it comes to our men. Huge accountability issue. We don't want to hold our men accountable. And in other communities, the men, it's totally different. The mindset is completely different in other communities. But in the black community, it's backwards. And so I just think that when you just hold the women accountable but not the men, you're doing the black community a disservice. And I think what she wants to do is she wants to point out these issues that's going on with black women, so black women can take notice and make changes and do better. And I get it. I get it. I get it. I get that. But at the same time, you know, what about addressing the men? What about addressing the men? And some of her topics is just like they come across kind of bashing, like bashing, and it just perpetuate this. I wonder if she's trying to profit off the black women bashing train. If she's trying to get on this black women bashing train that they got here on YouTube. You know, that's a big moneymaker on YouTube, is bashing black women. It's a big moneymaker here on YouTube. Whether it be individual black women or the whole group, black women as a whole, as a group. And, you know, that's very lucrative here on YouTube. You know, Kevin Samuels made a killing bashing black women. He made a killing on here. It's become very lucrative. And that's why a lot of black men is on that train. And now we have these black women jumping on the train. And I'm sorry, but I can't help but to wonder that if she's not jumping on that black female bashing train. And black male bashing as well. That's a moneymaker. You know, just black people bashing each other. It's very lucrative here on YouTube. Very lucrative. With black women bashing black men too. It's very lucrative. Yes, we do need to have these conversations, but can we have them without bashing one another? Without being one-sided, finger pointing, saying, oh, it's all the women, oh, it's all the men. Can we have these conversations without the finger pointing? Can we have these conversations without bashing one another? And so far, we can't. We can't. And it's like, you know, a lot of her subscribers are black males. Of course they're going to be. Of course. Of course. She's pandering to them. She's tickling their ears. She's telling them everything they want to hear. You know? Particularly, you know, the ones that black women haters. I'm sure they gravitate to this channel. And I'm reading some of the comments in the comment section on some of these videos, and the black men aren't saying anything nice. And they're talking about praising her, talking about how much they love her channel. Well, of course they do. All she's talking about is black women, and none of it is positive. If you're gonna talk about black women, why don't you throw some positive content in there? Tell us some of the things that we are doing right, instead of always telling us everything wrong about us. She doesn't even balance her content out when it comes to black women. Everything is negative. All of her topics I'm reading are negative, something negative. You know? And I think she's trying to put a mirror up to black women and tell black women that, you know, this is the issue that you're dealing with. You need to fix it. Because ultimately, yeah, what a few black women do does affect all of us. And as I said before, I think that's kind of the motivation behind it too. That she may be a little frustrated because we get judged as a whole. We get judged as the collective, as black women, and these black women out here that's doing certain things make us all look bad. And I get that, and I get it. But we gotta talk about, as black content creators, we have a responsibility, and we have a responsibility to discuss the issues on both sides, not just make it one sided. I mean, I don't know. That's what I believe anyway. I believe that there's issues on both sides, and those issues on both sides need to be addressed. And I think as black content creators, we have that responsibility to address the issues on both sides. And it's not a one-sided thing. That's the problem. We're so busy throwing everything on the black woman. And that's why we, okay, and that's why our communities are in the shape that they're in. That's why our communities, because people are refusing, are coddling the men and not holding them accountable. And I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay, well, let me know if you've seen her channel. It's called The Crimson Cure. If you've seen this woman's channel, if you haven't, go over there, take a look at it. Let me know in the comment section what you think about her. I don't expect y'all to agree with everything I'm saying here, but that's just my thought on it. Let me know. Hit me up in the comment section. If you are aware of her channel. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think that she needs to balance her content out and just talk about both sides, or you agree with her focusing on black women? Do you think she's coming across as bashing? Do you think she's pandering to black men? Let me help me in the comment section, and let me know what your thoughts are on this lady's channel. Not trying to, I don't mean no disrespect to the sister, because I'm not about that. But I'm just some constructive, some constructive criticism here, But just hit me up, let me know. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. Until the next video, be blessed.